This trick has often been called the world's best card trick. Do you agree? Well, let's learn it and you can make a decision for yourself. This is the Chicago opener, also known as Red Hot Momma. Yeah.
Open sesame!
Now, there's a lot of boring ways to try to find a card. I want to do a non-boring way. But real quick, just say stop. All right, right there. We will cut the card into the deck. Now, the non-boring way to find your card, we're actually going to blow on the cards. I know that's weird, but we're going to do it. So we blow on the cards. What happens? Yeah, one card turns cold. I know. So it's blue as opposed to the red of the deck, obviously. So let's see what it is. It is, in fact, your card. Not bad, but now you know what to look for. So I'm going to have you do the same thing you just did. Just say stop. You say stop there. Let's do this card. So remember that card? All right, we're going to do it again. So we blow on the cards, right? We blow on the cards. I know it's weird, but oh, let's see. One card should have turned cold. Actually, well, there is one here. What was your card again? There it is. So to do the Chicago opener, you just need one blue card, any blue card, and you're going to find the matching card in your deck. And this is in fact great as an opener because you can just carry your deck of cards around prepped in this way and then perform this as your first trick for people, which I have often done. Now I'm going to teach you the standard way and then my modified way. So the standard way is to have a card selected and then it's going to be cut into the deck. Now when you cut a deck, what you're actually doing is putting the top and bottom cards together. Anytime you cut the deck, whatever the preceding top and bottom cards were, they end up on top of each other. So now this blue card, no matter what, if you just cut the deck with the selection on top, it will end up under the blue card. So you're going to do that and you get to reveal this first card. Then all you have to do is a double turnover. I teach one on my channel and you can check that video out. So you do a double turnover, which is turning over two cards, and this loads the final reveal for later. So you're going to turn over the two cards, revealing that their selection has been changed into a blue card, and then you're going to put this back on top. Now I want to note that by simply cutting to the blue card, you load the red version of this card back onto the bottom. So to recap that real quick, when you cut the selection in, and you go to the selection, you want to take these cards and place them down, do your double turnover, and then place these cards back on top. That loads this card ready to go. Now what you're going to do is a force. And so the standard way to force this card is to do a Hindu shuffle. A Hindu shuffle is where you pull cards from the top consecutively like this. You're holding the deck in this hand between your thumb and middle finger, and you're just shoveling cards over by pinching the top sides of the deck into a sort of a dealer's grip here. When you're doing that, you're retaining the bottom card. And again, so this is the standard way people like to do the trick. So you shovel cards, shovel cards, shovel cards. No matter what, when people say stop, they're going to see this card. So that's the standard way that it is taught, but I'm going to show you a different way in a moment. But then you can continue on, pretend that maybe something has gone wrong because it didn't turn blue, and then you get to reveal this card. Now, what would I recommend instead of the Hindu shuffle? Well, first of all, it's worth noting that regardless of what you do, I think some mirroring is helpful. On Alex Pandrea's channel, Magic Ballet taught this, and I think he was the one who used a Riffle force instead of a Hindu force. And I really like that. I think it's a little more normal seeming. So credits to him. I'm sure that's been in other places, but he's the one I saw it from. So when you do this the first time, there's an important mirroring is essentially what I'm saying. So when you start the trick and you have a card selected, let's do a different one just to make it easier. When you have a card selected, the first time you have it placed in the deck, you can go ahead and say stop. And if you do the Hindu shuffle version, you can load the blue card on top in that way. So the first time you do the Hindu shuffle, it's to place the freely chosen card back in the deck. Does that make sense? So then you can reveal, and then that way it's kind of normal and feels right for them to do that again. So the first time they say stop, they're saying stop for placing a selection back in the deck. They selected it like this, but you're placing it back in, and then to actually make the selection and do the force, you do that again. Say stop, they will, and you force it. And I think there's really good psychology there. So again, just recapping that, you have a card selected. You go say stop. They say stop, you've loaded the blue card in. You reveal the blue card. Then to have the card selected a second time, you go say stop. So there's that pairing there. But to do it a way that seems a little more natural, we're going to do a riffle force instead. So for the first part, you just have to say stop while running your thumb down the deck. They'll say stop, and you just cut the deck. They place their card in, and you go like that. Alternatively, you can treat it like a riffle force. So they've selected their card, you cut into the middle with a pinky break, you say stop, they say stop, and you're gonna lift on the pinky break so that you can load the blue card in. Either way works. So you're just using, instead of the Hindu shuffle, a riffle force. Place that in, reveal that we have a blue card, reveal that it is their card, and you're continuing on as before, but now you're going to riffle force the selection instead of Hindu forcing the selection. They say stop, you show the bottom card, place that in, and you can continue on like so, and that's just a little more natural than doing the Hindu shuffle. Now, what should you do with this card when you're done? Because you do technically have a duplicate of the card still in the deck. At the end of the day, if you're moving on into other tricks, I don't think it's a big deal. I think you can get rid of this card or even leave it out and just do tricks, and if the other 8 of hearts comes up, I don't think it's actually a big deal. But if you're worried about that and the discrepancy of that, what you can do is, instead of having the card genuinely lost into the middle of the deck, you can control it back to the top or bottom. And then after you've done the reveal, you let that moment sink in. And then you can say that you're going to take the 8 of hearts and place it back in your pocket. So if you do that from the bottom, you have to hide the 8 of hearts, and you're taking 2 cards and placing it into your pocket. So for that reason, maybe it's actually better to just control the 8 of hearts to the top, make the reveal, let the reveal sink in, and then say, I don't want to get distracted with a blue card. I'm just going to place it in my pocket. So that's my straightforward tutorial for the Chicago opener. It is a classic. There are other great tutorials out there. I know Illusionist posted one with Michael Lamar himself recently, actually, at least at the time of this recording. And like I said, shout out to Alex Pandrea for teaching it through Magic being featured on his channel. But this is a classic of Magic, so you can kind of get out there and see other people's different versions of it, which I do encourage. But what are your thoughts on the Chicago opener? Do you think it deserves the title of World's Best Card Trick? Or what do you think would dethrone it as the world's best card trick? Is there something that deserves that title better? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.